Disclaimer: the content of this video is based on credible, publicly available information, official statements, and other authentic online materials. It is intended for educational, analytical, and informational purposes only. We do not promote hate, violence, misinformation, or political unrest. Our sole objective is to provide context-rich insight into current affairs, amplify local perspectives, and support informed dialogue across Africa.
What would you do if I told you that one African leader just erased colonial borders with the stroke of a pen? What if I told you that Ibrahim Traore has shocked the world by declaring that every African can now enter Burkina Faso without a visa? No barriers, no restrictions, no questions asked. Just freedom. Join me as I reveal the explosive story of how this bold decision is shaking geopolitics, rewriting Africa's future, and proving that one man's Pan-African vision can turn into a continental movement. Whether you're watching from Niger, Zimbabwe, Jamaica, the US, or Europe, we see you, and you're part of this African family. Here, we don't chase trends. We deliver truth with facts, sources, and eyewitness reports. No fiction, no propaganda, just Africa's story told with pride. So like, share, and subscribe. Because together, we're not just watching history, we're rewriting it. The central issue before us is simple but profound. Ibrahim Traore has announced that all African nationals can now enter Burkina Faso visa-free. It is not just a government decree, it is a political earthquake. For years, Africans have been forced to treat each other like strangers in their own land. Colonial borders cut us apart, visa policies kept us apart, and yet, here stands Burkina Faso saying, the walls are coming down. This is not just a policy. This is a message to the world. Ibrahim Traore has thrown open Burkina Faso's borders to all Africans, declaring in practice what Pan-Africanists have dreamed of for generations. Africa for Africans. And that's just the beginning. Let us go deeper. The Council of Ministers of September 11, 2025, approved this landmark decision under the amending finance law for the 2025 state budget. On the surface, it looks like a technical policy move, but in reality, it is pure revolution. The purpose? To facilitate free movement of people and goods, to promote African integration, and to signal that Burkina Faso stands firmly in the camp of unity, sovereignty, and liberation. Imagine this. You are a young entrepreneur from Ghana. You pack your bags, cross into Burkina Faso, and no one stops you for paperwork or visa fees. You are welcomed as a brother, not as a foreigner. Or you are a student from Kenya, curious to see Ouagadougou. Now, you can board a plane, land in Burkina Faso, and walk in as if it were your home. That is what Ibrahim Traore has made possible. Keep watching, because it gets deeper. Burkina Faso is not alone. Countries like Ghana, Rwanda, the Gambia, Benin, Seychelles, and Kenya have already opened their doors to Africans. But what makes this different is the context. Burkina Faso is part of the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, with Mali and Niger. These are nations under siege by terrorism, sanctions, and neo-colonial pressure. By making this move, Ibrahim Traore is not just promoting tourism or trade. He is telling the African Union, ECOWAS, and the whole world, we are breaking the colonial chains. Think of the irony. For decades, Africans could enter Paris, London, or Brussels more easily than they could enter each other's capitals. A Nigerian businessman might secure a Schengen visa, but still struggle to enter Senegal. A Burkinabe farmer could fly to France to sell cocoa, but face red tape when entering Côte d'Ivoire. And now, Traore says enough. The borders that divide Africans are colonial relics, and they must fall. But there's something the media isn't telling you. This is not just about visas, it is about power. By opening its borders to Africans, Burkina Faso is positioning itself as the beating heart of Pan-African unity. Ibrahim Traore is not only a president, he is becoming a symbol of Africa rising, Africa daring, Africa refusing to be dictated to. If you believe Africa must rise, comment, Africa must rise. And think about the numbers. The African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, promises to create a market of 1.3 billion people worth $3.4 trillion. But how do you trade freely when your people cannot move freely? How do you build Pan-African unity when your students and workers are stuck behind visa walls? Free visas for Africans is not charity. It is economics. It is politics. It is survival. You won't believe what happens next. Tourism experts already predict that Burkina Faso's cultural image will grow. The country is rich in history, masks, music, traditions, and festivals. By welcoming Africans visa-free, Ibrahim Traore is saying, "Come and see us, share our culture, and let us know yours." Economists say this could bring millions in new revenue. But more than that, it builds solidarity. Every African visitor becomes an ambassador for unity. But let's step back. Why now? Why would a country facing security challenges decide to open its doors wider than ever before? Some critics whisper that it is too risky. Yet, Traore's calculation is clear. Security does not come from isolation. Security comes from unity. A lone tree can be cut down by the wind, but a forest stands tall together. Burkina Faso's message is that Africans must see each other as allies, not as suspects. This is where Niger sends the world a message. Remember, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso recently quit ECOWAS. They faced sanctions, isolation, and Western hostility. Now they are building a new bloc, the AES, rooted in sovereignty. By declaring free visas, Burkina Faso adds another brick to that foundation. It is telling fellow Africans, we may be under siege, but we are not closed. We are open to our brothers and sisters. If you believe in Ibrahim Traore, comment. I stand with Traore. The historical echoes are powerful. Kwame Nkrumah once said, "The independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa." Thomas Sankara declared that the borders drawn in Berlin were not our borders, and he dreamed of a free Africa. Today, Ibrahim Traore walks in their footsteps. He is proving that Sankara's vision did not die. It lives in the laws, in the decisions, and in the heartbeat of Burkina Faso. Keep watching, because this is about more than just one country. The policy also strengthens Burkina Faso's image abroad. Foreign media cannot ignore a headline like this. Burkina Faso opens borders to all Africans. Traore shocks the world precisely because he is doing what global leaders said was impossible. In Europe, visa debates drag on for decades. In Africa, one man just made history overnight. The symbolism is enormous. Every time a Malian, a Nigerian, or a South African steps foot in Ouagadougou without a visa, they are living Pan-African unity. Every handshake, every trade deal, every friendship formed is proof that colonial walls are crumbling. Like this video if you feel what's coming is long overdue. But let's not forget the geopolitics. The West has always benefited from Africa's divisions. Borders meant control. Visa fees meant dependency. But Ibrahim Traore's move is a strike at that system. It is a declaration that Africans will no longer pay to see each other, no longer ask permission to know each other, no longer submit to rules written by others. This is Africa rising on its own terms. The next chapter belongs to Africa. And here's the part that shocks even more. Burkina Faso is not a rich country by GDP standards. Yet it is taking steps that giant economies hesitate to take. South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, all have complicated visa regimes. But Burkina Faso, a landlocked nation under pressure, is saying courage matters more than size. Will others follow? Will Mali and Niger copy the move? Will ECOWAS leaders listen? Time will tell, but the spark has been lit. What comes next proves Africa is rising on its own terms. Imagine if all 54 African countries removed visa restrictions for Africans. Imagine a student from Lagos studying in Ouagadougou, an artist from Dakar performing in Addis Ababa, a farmer from Bamako selling goods in Johannesburg, all without borders stopping them. That is the dream Ibrahim Traore is inviting us to see.
Comment, and
that is the revolution he has begun. Comment below, because the next piece needs your voice. And yet, let's not forget, this is also a call to responsibility. Integration is not easy. It will require infrastructure, investment, and trust. But as Africans say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Burkina Faso is choosing to go far with Africa. Subscribe, because the truth doesn't end here. As we wrap up, ask yourself, why does this story matter to you? Whether you are in Burkina Faso or Brazil, Kenya or Canada, this decision proves that Africa is not waiting for permission anymore. It is acting. And when Ibrahim Traore acts, the world pays attention, where truth is verified and Africa writes its own future. Whether you're in Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Ghana, or beyond, you are part of this movement. If you believe in an Africa rising with dignity and self-reliance, stand with us. Like, share, and subscribe.